All right, I'm on hole number 3 of the Glenmonarch 9-hole cup. I'm in Thursday's practice round. This is the second practice session. Just trying to figure out some stuff to set me up for the qualifying round. I did get an eagle on hole number 1, just doing that shot, seeing where I was at, and missed the hole-in-one shot on 2. Still trying to work the numbers. This hole right here is, jeez, the par 5s that are in Glenmonarch are all 3 of them they're super tough. But this one right here is maybe the toughest of the 3. Now I feel real confident where I was at. Like, I draw a line out here, you need to be in front of that line. I was right on the line. I came through over here and I clipped the rough and I just dribbled out to that area. And I'm going to continue to work the shot. I put on, let me look at my notes here, I put on about 2 topspin and just barely clipped the rough. I think if I'd had just a little bit more, I could have hit over the rough, and the trajectory here is putting me towards the deepest part of the cup, or this fairway area. A lot of people are trying to maneuver in, and they're trying to finesse it in so that they're getting this run between, and it's leading you out here into this rough area, and you don't have as much fairway to work with. So if you drew the line here, you've got quite a bit of distance that you left on the table if you hit it straight instead of trying to maneuver it through. And I think you're going to see a lot of people over the weekend hitting out here and just dribbling off into the rough. And if you hit out here and you get in the perfect spot, it's putting you right at the minimum distance that you want to get in order to help you on the second shot. So if you're taking this, and this is the pony that you want to ride, you know, this isn't a bad spot to bring a power 4 ball, because it may not necessarily help you at all on the first shot, but it's definitely going to help you on the second shot. I'm going to do it this way, where I'm coming out this to try and get into the deepest part of this fairway area and trying to bounce it over. Now, if I fail and I clip the rough, I'll end up dribbling out right to the line. So I haven't lost anything compared to where people out here are going to be. But if I can get over and not overshoot it and end up in the rough on this end, it'll be a nice little spot out here, especially with a 4 power ball, because if you're using a 3 power ball and you've got a big dog, and the first practice round, you know, I was here. So if you measure this distance, you're going to be about that same distance out here. And so the closer, if you could get out here and cut that distance in half, you're going to cut that distance in half up here. And the closer you can get here, the less topspin you're going to have to do. So if you're out in this area right here, in order to get over, heck, you're going to have to, if you got a big dog, you're going to have to do all of your topspin, and you're almost going to have to do a rough bump through here to get over. Whereas if you can eke up towards the top up here, that second bounce, you could engage just a little bit of backspin, and backspin can help you. Now in this particular count, I worked very hard to get my Guardian maxed out. Here a couple tournaments ago, I was about 22 cards short, and I spent the entire week playing Tour 5 to try and get Guardian cards. And got my Guardian maxed out. So let's see my Guardian here. Let me check a bag. Let me switch to the Guardian bag. So I use my Guardian and I compare it to my big dog. Distance-wise, they're about the same. Topspin-wise, I'm definitely got a better shot if I don't get all the way up into that hole. So the only way I would bring a Guardian here is if I was 100% confident that I could get down into the hole right here. Because if you can get down into the hole here, the benefit of a Guardian is if you can get down into the hole far enough here so that you can get down here, and you could use overpower, and you could put backspin on, and you could stick on the green. But I think, you know, it would be a very technical shot using a Guardian, even if you've got a higher level Guardian. I think you're pretty much, you know, your best bet is probably to bring your big dog, unless you brought a 4 power ball and you could get anywhere halfway into your target zone up here. Your area that you're hitting with your Guardian down here is going to put you so that you're not engaging your topspin so much, you're looking at your backspin. And if you were engaging your topspin, that 2 or 3 topspin that you have, you know, for the most of a Guardian's lifespan, it's going to be 2 topspin might be enough. The question is how much easier will it be to get out here with a 4-power ball, and whether it's worth the risk of bringing the Guardian. It's really important that we get an eagle on this hole. It's not an easy hole to get an eagle on, but it is eagleable. But I'm going to bring my big dog. I'm going to bring my big dog. Let's see what my options are for 4-power balls. Because you don't need, this is a wind ball. This is a 5-power ball, and I don't really want to waste my 5-power balls. Although this Liberty ball right here, I wish that sucker had 3 side spin. Gridiron, 5, 1 side spin. Anniversary ball, I think that's a Kingmaker lookalike. Snow globe is definitely not something I'm going to bring here. Firework ball is a 4-power ball with 3 side spin. We don't need the side spin. I hate to waste those firework balls. Gingerbread's a 4-power ball. Autumn's 5. And I'm not wasting my Kingmaker axis. This might, that side spin's not going to play a factor there. Prestige ball, another 4-power ball with a bunch of side spin. Low wind. I hate to waste those because I only have 5 of them, and that's enough to play in a full tournament. I try and keep 5 of those balls just so that if you're playing them in a tournament, you can play every hole in the tournament with them. And I do have some Royal balls left, but I only have 2. So if I use one of those today, and then I plan on using one in the weekend round, that might be an option. That might be an option. It's a 4-power ball. I got 5 of those left. Just enough. Thinking. I'm gonna bring a 4-power ball because I think the 4-power ball is gonna help us out on the other side. And if we're playing to win, we've got to we gotta be willing to bring out the big stuff. This is why we save our big stuff for tournaments and only play that stuff in tournaments. If you're looking through these balls, you'll see some balls in here that are super old that I've had for a long time. This is from the very first 2017 Labor Day. I don't use the special balls that often. I try and save them for tournaments only. So I'll go ahead and take one for the team, and I'll bring a 4-power ball. What do we have in the store right now? I think there's some special. The open ball. It's a 4-power ball. So I could replace them and purchase a pack of those. If you're playing in the upper divisions, when you're looking at these packs, you need to start here. Because if you're playing in the upper divisions and you get on a hole and you need a 4-power ball that's got 2 side spin and 3 wind resistance, and this is the ball, you'll have to pull it out of the bag. You will have no choice, otherwise you're looking at losing 3 million, 10 million, 30 million coins. Whereas when you're playing down a rookie, if you buy these packs, you're buying them strictly for tournaments, and if you buy a $4.99 pack, that means that you can play this ball on 2 holes in 2 different tournaments. Or 1 hole, excuse me. You can play 2 holes. So you could pick, you got a hole in a tournament and you need this ball, you could use it, and then maybe another tournament or maybe on another hole, but there's 2 holes you can play an entire tournament round. And so just having the smaller packs, will be good. So my teammates I wish they had a $10 pack, but, that way I think that they could actually make more money if they had a $10 pack, because a lot of times people aren't willing to spend $20, but they might be willing to spend 10. Not telling you to buy the stuff, but obviously people buy stuff because you see these balls all the time. Let's make sure we got the right stuff here. Alright, let's try dribbling out there. I'm not going to try and weave and bob to get through that. I'm going to try and bounce over that sand. Now in the first round I did about 3 topspin will get me over, and I think I did right around 2 and clipped it. The question is whether when you roll out on the other side, is the 3 topspin going to allow you to stick in the fairway, or are you going to roll too far? So what I did on the last one was I didn't use any overpower. I took the side wind out, and then I put the wind, the forward moving wind, back in. So I made a 5-2 adjustment, and then I put the wind, the forward moving wind, back in. I don't like having to set up over there on the left how close you are to that rough. If you clip that rough over on the left-hand side and get caught up over there, then, you know, any chance that you had is gone. You're going to see that happen a lot. So I want to be out in this area a little bit more. I'll put on just enough topspin to get me over the other side. So I just need a little bit. So like there's 2 miles an hour wind. That's with a 3 topspin. I'm going to put on 2 topspin. I'm going to leave the wind in. So there's 2.8 right there. I'm going to leave that wind in. Hitting it perfect. Should get a pretty good read here. See if it can make it over or just clip the rough again. So I'm pretty much in the same area I was at before. I need to put on just either a little teeny bit more topspin, the 3 topspin that I wrote down that I thought I was going to need, or I need to just rub up against the nubs so that I'm doing just a little teeny bit of overpower. Not enough that it's making the needle go faster, but you can see that it's shaking. But I am farther on that side than I was before, and I've got a 4 power ball. So the second shot should be much, much easier if you can get out there in the target zone on the drive. So before, I was back in here with my red line, and if I could pick up this extra distance, that would be huge. So I'm going to try and finesse it and do another little rough bump here. This club is 2.1 per ring, so we're right at about a ring. Just trying to hit it perfect. Hit it great to the left because I was running out of time. And great to the left put me right in the sand. But I like the distance there, so if I would have hit that shot right where it should have been, that would have dribbled up there on the green. Now, there's a bunch of different ways to do that. I'm still trying to get further up into this hole so that the second shot is more standardized. What I should have did there was started up in the hole, put on a little bit more topspin, and just went for the green to see how much it will slow down on the green on the other side, instead of trying to finesse that through that rough. Especially with a big dog, as inaccurate as it is. So I started off on that, absolutely looking at this as a pure practice round, and hit the eagle on hole number 1, and that almost changed my my tune. But haven't picked up anything else, so this is definitely still a pure practice round. Hit it great to the left, it'll go great to the left. Those shots right there, you know, if you don't hit them perfect, they don't go in the hole. So I still got some work to do on hole number 3. This is a very eagleable hole if you bring the right stuff and you put yourself in the right spot. if on that drive I would have listened to the notes that I got from my first practice round, and in my first practice round I was like, two with a 3 power ball is not going to cut it. 2 topspin. It needs to be 3 to get me so that I don't clip that rough and I can end up out in the front. I will miss that shot. I definitely want to come at it where I'm being a lot more serious on all these holes and not just practicing. Even though this next 2 hole series are holes that, or these next 3 holes, 4, 5, and 6, are absolutely holes that you can pick one up on. The par 3, the par 4, and the par 5 are absolutely, there's ways to get on. And this series right here is really an important series. Okay, that was hole number 3. Still got some work to do on that. Let me look at this hole again. So, my goal is that I'm trying to make this shot so that it's a straighter shot. If you're trying to get out here, and there's the tee box, I'm just trying to hit it straight. But there's that fine line when you're out here of getting over without having to use any overpower, and I left the wind in. Getting over without clipping the rough so that you can get that bounce forward, but not putting on so much. You have to put on topspin in order to get your ball guide to the other side, but not putting on so much topspin that if you do make the shot, you end up rolling off the front. And so I think if you get over here and you've got much more than 3 topspin, you're really taking the risk of rolling out here in the front. But I'm gonna have to make sure I put 3 on this. With a 4 power ball, I can definitely see it's gonna be a lot easier. If I was still kind of right at the minimum line out here that you want to be at. So when you look at the other side, with a 3 power ball, I was this far back, and then with a 3 power ball, your red line's here. I did get forward a little bit more, and I was forward a little bit more here. But the goal is to try and be able to dig all the way down into that hole. If you can dig all the way down into the hole down here, you can actually engage this with backspin. So that second bounce over with like a big dog, you're going to use maybe 1 backspin, maybe right there at that line to try and dribble it onto the green. Okay, that was hole number 3 of the Glenmonarch Cup, or Glenmonarch 9-hole Cup. Thanks for watching.